Hello, welcome to my kitchen. I'm a dietitian and this is what I feed my kids for breakfast. Because breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Just kidding, you could actually make that argument about any meal, but breakfast is important. I think a nutritious, balanced, and filling breakfast is useful for all kids. So the general breakfast formula that I follow is produce, which is usually a fruit, sometimes a vegetable, protein, fat, and a grain. I really want to emphasize the importance of fat in breakfast, especially for babies and toddlers, because this is the point in their life when their brains are the most rapidly development, and fat is essential for that brain growth. So here's a list of some of the typical breakfast items that I serve that are great protein and fat sources for kids. Whole eggs, chicken sausage, whole fat yogurt, peanut butter, hemp hearts, and whole fat milk. So I don't love to cook. While I am somebody who loves to save recipes on Instagram and TikTok, usually don't end up making them. I just rarely find time to batch prep homemade pancakes or muffins. If you find the time to do that, that is amazing. But that's just not the highest thing on my priority list right now. So here's some things that I serve for my kids for breakfast that aren't all homemade. And these are easy, fast, and nutrient dense, which are all the things that I'm looking for when I serve my kids breakfast. I'm Dr. Taylor and I teach you how to foster healthy relationships with food for your kids. You should definitely subscribe if you're looking for practical and evidence-based nutrition tips for your kids without all the wackadoodle advice circulating on the internet nowadays, especially on some social media platforms and some Facebook mom groups or parent groups. But before we start, this is a quick disclaimer, because if you're here for homemade breakfast ideas, you will not find that here. These are easy, realistic, nutrient-packed breakfasts that are low effort and low time. So if those are the kind of breakfast ideas that you want, then stick around. So here's a list of some go-to breakfasts that I feed my kids. Whole milk Greek yogurt, Cheerios, and fruit. And oftentimes I'll add hemp hearts, chia seeds, or honey, or all three on top of the whole milk Greek yogurt. This is like a deconstructed parfait thing. Sometimes, really not often anymore. I used to put them all together, but my kids like them deconstructed. So I'll put a little bowl of yogurt and then all the fixings on the side. Oftentimes they eat it separate. Sometimes they'll sprinkle it in and eat it together. You can also do this with whole milk regular yogurt. I just choose whole milk Greek yogurt because that's what me and my husband eat, and it's easier to buy one version of yogurt rather than two for our family. So whole milk Greek yogurt is higher in protein than just whole milk regular yogurt. Most kids don't need that additional bump of protein. One of my kids does, so we choose the Greek. If you're looking for more information on protein for kids, you can check out this video that I did here. Second breakfast is waffles with peanut butter and hemp hearts, sometimes honey, and fruit or a vegetable. I use frozen waffles. Okay, I know what you're thinking. You might say, but you could just make a batch of them and freeze them ahead of time. It doesn't take that much time, but it does take that much time, and it's time that I don't want to commit to that because I think frozen waffles are a great option for my family. So on school mornings, I typically top frozen waffles with peanut butter. Sometimes I've done almond butter, and I've even done Greek yogurt, but I mostly use that for babies because my kids don't love yogurt on their waffles, although they could dip the waffles in yogurt. Other times I also just top it with butter and they'll just have a buttered waffle. And if I'm doing that, then I try to serve an additional protein source with their waffles because a buttered waffle doesn't have a significant amount of protein. So if I'm doing a buttered waffle, which my kids love, and that's another way that I prepare frozen waffles, I'll serve it with sausage, chicken sausage, or scrambled eggs, or a hard-boiled egg to add a protein source because the buttered waffle isn't enough protein for my liking and my kids' needs at breakfast. And then I'll round out that meal with fruit or veggies. I don't give them syrup on weekdays. Sometimes on weekends we'll do buttered waffles with syrup, but it's just too messy in the mornings before school. So we do a plain buttered waffle, kind of like buttered toast. And I'll also make the same version of that breakfast that I mentioned with pancakes or toast. So we can have the waffle with peanut butter or the waffle with butter, and then you sub out the waffle or toast or pancakes. And we have a whole variety of breakfasts here when we really haven't changed that much. Another go-to breakfast for me is oatmeal with frozen blueberries, chia seeds, sometimes brown sugar, depending on the kid. The blueberries turn the oatmeal a purple color, which my kids love, and they love the frozen blueberries. There's a touch of sweetness with the frozen blueberries because I thaw them in the microwave. They don't get with fresh blueberries. It's a major win. Sometimes I just serve a side of those thawed frozen blueberries and they go to town on them. And fun tip is you can use the frozen blueberries to cool down the oatmeal if it's too hot, but you you want to be cautious with serving frozen blueberries to kids under 4 because they could be a choking hazard. So if they're super young kiddos, then I thaw them all the way through before I freeze them, or before I serve them. And for like the little babies, if the oatmeal is too hot, I get an ice cube, mix it into the ice cube melt, and that really helps bring down the temperature. Next is bagel with butter, chicken sausage or eggs, and fruit. This is similar to the waffle toast pancake meal, but the reason I made it separate is because the bagel is a significant source of protein. It's a little bit higher than toast and much higher than pancakes or your typical store-bought waffles. So it's like an extra good source of protein if your kids are needing that little protein boost in the morning. And one bagel is 10 grams of protein. So for a toddler who needs 13 grams of protein, half a bagel is 5. So it's about a third of their daily protein needs in just half a bagel for toddlers ages 1 to 3. I used to buy the expensive Dave's Killer Bagels at the supermarket, but then I decided to compare them to fresh bagels from a bagel shop like Einstein's, and I was really surprised at how the nutrition of the bagels is not that different. So we switched to buying fresh bagels. And in my area, Einstein's has a deal every Monday. So it's actually cheaper to buy a dozen bagels every Monday or every other Monday than it is to buy like a sleeve of 6 bagels once a week. So the Dave's Killer Bagels are only higher in protein by a very small amount because we like the fresh bagels, like the way they taste better. We just go with that. Next, cereal with whole milk, eggs or chicken sausage, and fruit. Are you seeing a theme here? Good, because there is a theme. It all follows that breakfast formula that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, which is produce, fruit or veggie, protein, fat, and a grain. My kids love cereal, and I do serve it, but I try to serve other things alongside it to make it a more filling option at breakfast. I also use whole milk to contribute a more significant amount of fat than skim milk, so that helps make it more filling too. And the cereal that I use at breakfast is usually like Cheerios or a Total type cereal. Although sometimes we do serve sweetened cereal, especially because my husband likes it, and so we occasionally have it in the house, and when we do, my kids like having that for breakfast sometimes too. And a recent addition of mine to this breakfast lineup is the Little Spoon frozen breakfast meals. So frozen, and it's got eggs, sausage, and sweet potato hash browns. These are wonderfully easy and nutrient packed, and I really like how much autonomy they can give kids because they can get it out, prep their breakfast themselves if they're old enough to safely use the microwave, and it's got everything they need there on that plate. Although usually we'll add like a side of fruit to it too. And disclosure, I am on their expert panel. I do create some content for them, but this is not a sponsored post. I just really love the company and I love their products. Okay, so those are all of like my food options, and then this is simple for a drink. They either get water or milk. We don't really serve juice at breakfast in our house, or rarely, or pretty much ever. We actually don't really drink juice at all. So that's it. It's simple. I need like easy, quick, affordable, nutritious breakfast. So I take my breakfast formula and I try to change it up one little thing each day. So that's what I feed my kids for breakfast. It follows the breakfast formula, but I try to inject as much variety as I can with like the toppings that I put on the waffles or the yogurt, the types of fruit, the types of vegetables I serve, even like the way I cut it up and prepare it. I try to inject as much variety into breakfast as possible so that we don't get stuck in a food rut. If you're the parent of a toddler or baby and you're looking for more breakfast inspiration, you can find 30 days of breakfast inspo inside my Feeding Baby 101 ebook, which I will link below in the caption. It's free, of course. So that's it. Happy breakfasting. Let me know if you have any other good ideas for breakfast below in the comments, if you have any questions, and we can chat. And if you have any other ideas for videos, let me know too. Okay, bye.